Okay, so the government has taken steps towards protecting Kiwi children from online exploitation. This all happened yesterday by overhauling the technology that they use to find child sexual abuse images on the internet. This means that websites containing pornographic images of children will now be filtered out and blocked at the very highest level. The DIA reckons the number of blocked URLs from around 700 will go up to about 30,000. We'll talk to the two women who have been fighting to make this happen for years. Very shortly, they've done so well. But first, the Minister responsible, Brooke Van Velden, is with us. Minister, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
This will stop how many images? So images that are currently there now, how many would be not seen? Do you have an estimate on that?
Yes, so the government's DIA filter for digital child exploitation at the moment has around 700 URLs that are filtered. Having this new deal with a UK organisation will see that number go up to around 30,000 websites on any given day that will block this terrible, terrible content.
Why has it taken so long to get here? I mean, it seems like a no-brainer to do this. Why has it taken so long to get there when the world's been doing this? We've got these campaigners here who have been in government's faces, successive government's faces for years to say, hey, do this. Why has it taken so long?
Well, one thing we can be absolutely guaranteed is that under this government, this has been on our radar, and I've been following up with the Department of Internal Affairs about their service delivery of the digital exploitation filter. I can't really speak to what was happening before I was Minister of Internal Affairs around 8 months ago, but, you know, my heart really does go out to any child who has been a victim of child exploitation, and any one of those children who knows that their image that has been used to exploit them is found online. And my hope by signing this provision will actually mean that there'll be fewer children victims who are being re-traumatized by knowing that their images are online. And so I think this is a great step for the Department of Internal Affairs, but also those children who have to suffer every day with what they're abusing.
And good on you for doing it too. How hard was it to do?
Oh, well, this work has been carried out by the Department of Internal Affairs. So for myself, I can't talk about what was happening with the contracts behind the scenes, but it has been something that I know the department has been focused on and working on because we do want to ensure that there are fewer images available online, that even other children might be able to stumble upon. And I know for a lot of families, they're very concerned about what their children might be seeing on the internet, and knowing that there are fewer images of this worst of the worst content available is only a good thing. And
I see yesterday the Department of Internal Affairs has confirmed that 11 roles at the digital safety team could be axed. The Public Service Association has said the lead online investigator for digital child exploitation was among them. This is ridiculous, Minister. On one hand, you say, let's go and do this, and on the other hand, you're sacking staff.
Well, what I can say about this is that the proposed changes within the digital safety team are still up for consideration. However, what I would say is there's only been one position proposed for disestablishment, including a vacant advisor role, which is not directly involved with preventing child exploitation or violent extremism. But I do expect that the digital safety team will maintain the same levels of service as they do currently. That's been my expectation across the Department of Internal Affairs, that core government business will still remain while we are attempting to find saving cuts for all of New Zealand across government. So things like passport services and the digital safety team, people can still expect good service.
So are you saying then that the reporting of this, the 11 roles that could be axed, is that incorrect?
What I'm suggesting is that there will be some roles that just have never been filled because they are vacant roles. But from what I am aware of, there is only one position proposed for disestablishment within this team.
Can you give the New Zealand public a guarantee that the size of the digital safety team won't be any smaller than it currently is?
No, the digital safety team itself may be smaller. However, we still expect the exact same level of service delivery. I believe, and I think this whole government believes, that it's possible to do more with efficiencies. We've found this across the board in other areas that I'm responsible for too, with the Labour Inspectorate, for example, in workplace relations. they've seen a 64% increase in efficiency.
I don't understand, though. You're making new moves here to be more aggressive in this space and to do more and to block more. You need more staff. You don't need fewer staff. Fewer staff can't do more on this. You need people. Computers don't do the work. People program it. People do the work. You need bums on seats in this role.
Oh, well, actually, I disagree with you on there. If you look at the deal that was signed with the IWF in the UK, which will see these huge gains made for our country with the online filter, a lot of their work is done through digital artificial intelligence to identify web pages that will be confirmed to host this illegal material. There is technology that is moving on that is helping us make these great gains. And I look forward to seeing what further work can be made in this space as technology rapidly progresses.
Right, so you can't give any guarantees about the size of this team. You can't give guarantees that people will keep their jobs because you can't.
Well, no, that's a question for the department's chief executive.
No, but you as the minister, as the minister, you have a say. We saw that with the suicide office when the minister came in and said, no, that will be staying. So you do have operational control. If you want something, you get it.
Well, what I'm saying to people is I expect the exact same levels of service delivery that we have seen, but also gains to be made where we have signed new contracts that will limit people's viewing of child sexual exploitation material online. It is possible to have better outcomes without spending more money or just seeing more people working within a department. What we're seeing here is the ability for efficiencies to be made, but also for there to be great gains. So, yes, I can't speak to the exact numbers of people who'll be working there because that is actually a question for the operational side of DIA. But one thing I want to stress for any family member or a person with a child who might be concerned about this, we do expect the digital safety team to remain, for there to be great work coming from this organisation, but also that we are making good gains by adopting new technologies and new partnerships around the world.
Okay. The Public Service Association, Minister, and I do appreciate your time this morning, the PSA says that the lead online investigator for digital child exploitation was among one of the job losses. Is that correct or incorrect?
So there is one position that I know is available for disestablishment, and that would be someone from within the investigations team.
So
however,
is it correct, though? Is that correct? Is the PSA correct with that claim?
I suspect that is actually a question that you'd need to raise with the department's chief executive. I'm not directly responsible for every person who works within DIA, but I'm responsible for setting the strategy. And one thing that I'm absolutely assured is that the current service levels will remain no matter what is happening across DIA.
But why would you get rid of a lead digital child exploitation investigator? Why on earth would you get rid of that person?
Well, like I say, it is actually very concerning to me that if children are being exploited, and it's very concerning to me that there may be those images found of them online. However, what I have been absolutely assured is while this government is creating savings across the board, across government and within DIA, that the same service level and provision will remain in areas like digital safety and as well as other areas across DIA like the Passports Office. Are
you concerned to hear that, though, that the lead online investigator around child exploitation is one that's going to be disestablished? Are you going to ask for a please explain, or are you comfortable with it?
I'm comfortable with everything that I've been saying this morning, that we do expect the same level of service delivery. However, where there are efficiencies that can be made, this is a good thing. Across government, we know as a government that we have to do more with a tighter pocket, like every family is having to do up and down New Zealand, or every business owner that I'm talking to who's finding it really, really tough out there. We can find great gains and great efficiencies and have better outcomes without increasing how much we are spending year on year. So I think there is a good story for us to be making across government, that for one, we can actually see improvements like the government signing this deal with the IWF, which will see the removal of child sexual exploitation happening online, increasing from what happened under the previous government from around 700 URLs to anywhere up to 30,000 URLs every day. That
One
is good progress for the department using new technology.
And that is good progress, but a former worker from IRD, from Internal Affairs, has said that if you cut the investigators, this is the direct quote, the actual people doing the hands-on work, you can expect an increase in backlogs of cases that need to be looked at, which are already significantly high. If you're not able to focus on the majority of these cases, there's going to be a significant number of children just waiting for someone to come along and help. So you'll have big backlogs if you don't have people. That's what they're saying.
Well, look, I can't speak to this particular person's experience, but I'm absolutely assured that we have the existing level of investigators. There is only one role that is prepared to be disestablished, and we will expect the same service level of delivery. And I do want to make that very clear. It is possible for us to find savings, but also to find efficiencies.
But why have such low expectations? But if you're guaranteeing the same level of service now, which may well be not good enough, why are you settling for something so mediocre? Why don't you want something better?
Well, we do want things that are better, which is why we have signed this deal with the IWS.
You say you want the same level of service, and the level of service now is not that good.
It is better now than it was under the previous government because we have signed a new deal which will see the level of online sexual abuse material featuring children reduced from people's eyes from around 700 at any time now to around 30,000. This is good progress for the government's digital child exploitation filter, and I certainly hope that there will be fewer victims of child sexual exploitation here in New Zealand and around the rest of the world, as well as fewer people stumbling upon this type of abhorrent content at any given time. This is a good gain for our digital filtering system, and I think all New Zealanders would back us on this. I think it is great progress, but it's also the case that having people within the DIA, it is possible to find efficiencies and still have that level of service.
Minister, I appreciate your time, and time will tell, I suppose, but thank you so much for your time this morning.